Pretty Girl Club. Welcome to the Featurism series. So, I want to talk about people who have light eyes and how light eyes are often policed and pedestalized in the Black community. I've talked about Featurism on this channel, and people tried to come into my comment section and say, nobody cares, it's just one feature, we're all the same, nobody even notices a difference, especially if she's dark skinned. That is false. There is a girl on YouTube who literally has Warrenberg syndrome and is deaf in one ear, and she was bullied so badly to the point where she had to come and make a YouTube video explaining why she looks the way she does. The video got millions of views because people are fascinated when you have a unique combination of features. But instead of simply saying you're pretty and moving on, people like to assign personality traits to you. People will randomly say, you think you're better. People will randomly say things like, you want to be white, even if you are just existing. You don't believe me? Let's take a look at my favorite website, Crusty Lip Alley. Somebody said, would Sydney Black be popular without blue eyes? The fact that this is even a question shows that people are pedestalizing her phenotype. They are pedestalizing her eye color. Why would you care if it doesn't make a difference and if nobody notices it? Why are there entire threads just about someone's eye color? And the way that I see it is anytime you have a feature that is pedestalized, a lot of people will start to identify you based on that feature. So for example, let's say you're a dark-skinned woman with light eyes. People will literally say, oh yeah, the dark-skinned girl over there with the light eyes. I went to an HBCU. I know that people do this all the time. Let's say you have a lighter complexion. People will be like, oh, the light-skinned girl over there. Oh, the girl with the curly hair. Anytime someone is not saying your name and instead they are calling you by the name of one of your features, that is a sign that that person is subconsciously pedestalizing you. And I want to talk about this because whenever you are accused of benefiting from colorism, texturism, or featurism in the Black community, it can cause people within the Black community to have resentment towards you and sometimes even jealousy, or sometimes people will assign personality traits to you that you don't even have. So this person said, would she be popular without blue eyes? She said, I can't find the thread, but some were saying that Sydney is gorgeous, but I just don't see it. Her eyes are to die for, but that's all I see, that is gorgeous. Okay, so you're revealing your own anti-Blackness by saying that the only pretty thing about her is her blue eyes. So do you see how a lot of people, they will accuse you as the privileged person? They will sometimes accuse you of thinking you're better or of thinking you're cute or of wanting to be white. But then when they call out that feature, they will say that's the only thing about you that's cute. You know how people say, she's not cute, she's just light-skinned. Okay, well, you're contradicting yourself because you're admitting that you think that light skin is enough to make someone be perceived as cute. They're doing the same thing with this girl's eyes. Here's another one. What is your opinion on dark-skinned Black people who are genetically born with light eyes? This person says, I like light eyes on anyone. Does it make one look more attractive? No. Case in point, Rihanna, though not dark-skinned, has nice eyes, but isn't this stunning beauty to me. So have you ever noticed that if you have light eyes, and then if the rest of your features are associated with, kind of the West African, Bantu, African-American features, then suddenly you're mediocre or you're average or you're only cute because you're light-skinned. People only think you're pretty because you're light-skinned. People only think you're pretty because of your eye color. And a lot of people in the Black community, they complain and they say, we don't promote unambiguous mono dark-skinned Black women with broad features, but then they will use your Black features as a humbling tactic against you. And then they'll say things like, you wouldn't be where you are if you weren't light-skinned. You wouldn't be where you are if it weren't for your light eyes. Someone else on here says, I don't like them. They always find some way to mention their eye color in every conversation. They also think they're better than other Black people. So this girl's talking about dark-skinned women who have light eyes. So does that stereotype sound familiar? They find a way to mention it in every conversation and they randomly think they're better than Black people. So the fact that you're even associating an eye color with automatically thinking you're better than other Black people, that shows your internalized pedestalization of light eyes. It has nothing to do with the person who was just naturally born with light eyes. And so a lot of people, they think that my channel is not necessary because they're like, oh, colorism, texturism, and featureism, and the people who are accused of benefiting from those things, they need to just sit down and basically like worship the Black community. And it's like, no, we are done being the emotional punching bag of people who have internalized colorism, texturism, and featureism. Just because we are born a certain way or we have features that are different, maybe it's light eyes, it doesn't make it okay for us to randomly be bullied. And so unambiguous women wanted their own safe space. And so now we have our safe space to talk about what it's like to be the people who have some of these features and how we are treated. Someone said, if you're dark skinned with blue eyes, people will assume you're wearing contacts. I've noticed that's another thing as well. Anytime you have a feature that does not fit that person's stereotype of you, people automatically assume that it's fake. And so then you find yourself having to explain your identity. You may find yourself almost trying to prove yourself, almost trying to prove your Blackness or trying to prove your humility, or sometimes even covering up those features because you don't want people to think that you think you're better. This is something that we've had to deal with for decades at this point, and we are no longer going to be emotional punching bags because of it. We're not going to apologize for the way that we were born. Someone said, I agree with you. Light eyes are so chased after in the Black community because it's rare that people go crazy over them even if the person is ugly. Okay, so please tell me what features you find ugly. People love throwing around the word ugly to women in the Black community who benefit from either colorism, texturism, or featureism. But then once you ask them to describe which features on their face are ugly, eyes, nose, lips, skin tone, hair texture, then they go silent because then you will expose their internalized colorism, texturism, or featureism. Anytime somebody says, you would have been ugly if it weren't for your light eyes, if you're a Black person, they're basically calling Black features ugly. Yet we're the colorists and we're the featurists and the texturists. This person says, I knew a guy who looked like Scooby-Doo who got damn near every woman he wanted because he had green eyes. It didn't matter that the rest of his face looked like his gums were trying to escape from his skull. Light eyes are overrated. So let's examine Scooby-Doo, the dog. Scooby-Doo has a dark brown color and a large, broad nose. What race of people do you know of who have those features? So do you see how people are exposing their own internalized anti-Blackness and then they want to project it onto you if you happen to be born with lighter eyes or lighter skin or a looser hair texture? This person says, light eyes trump light skin is all I know. I have a dark-skinned cousin who has green eyes, and anytime we go out, no matter where, she always gets compliments from everybody. We go to the mall, every store we go to, someone has to say, oh, you're so beautiful, I love your eyes. And I have other family members on my dad's side of the family just like her, dark skin, blue, green, hazel eyes. It gets so annoying hearing it so much. But did you hear their first sentence? Light eyes trump light skin. So do you see how people are putting certain features on a hierarchy, and like you as the person who has these features, you have no idea that in their minds they're putting things on a hierarchy. So they're saying light eyes are like higher level than if you just have light skin and dark eyes. So do you see people exposing their own internalized featureism right here? So this girl is blatantly admitting that featureism is more powerful than texturism. I mean, this is something that I've been saying on this channel for years. I believe that featureism and texturism are actually more prevalent than colorism, but a lot of people just don't talk about featureism and texturism. And so if you do benefit from one of those two things, featureism or texturism, you're going to have the same type of experience as someone who benefits from colorism, or an even more extreme experience, especially if you're dark-skinned and maybe you have like a very loose hair texture, or you have very narrow facial features, or you have light eyes with the dark skin. You're going to be othered just as much as a light-skinned person, if not more, because you are breaking too many stereotypes at once. Someone says, people are naturally attracted to anything unique, rare, and exotic. I think it looks beautiful. I prefer the green/light brown though. So it's funny how in one breath, people can admit, hey, anything unique, rare, or exotic, some people will be attracted to it. But then in the next breath, people say, oh, they only like you because of white supremacy. So, do you see how sometimes people will try to use white supremacy as a way to mask their own jealousy? Because there are some people who do like something that is rare. So, for example, when it comes to lighter skin tones in the black community, we all know that the majority of people in the black community obviously have kind of like a more of a milk chocolatey all the way to like a dark chocolatey skin tone. And so the lighter tones are more rare because the majority of black people in the world, whether they're mixed black or not, the majority of black people in the world do not have kind of that lighter golden skin tone. And so that's unique and rare. But then if somebody says, oh, I like someone that's light skinned, then suddenly, oh no, you only like her because of white supremacy. So the same thing goes for people with lighter eyes. Having light eyes, especially if you have a deeper complexion, maybe you have a kind of a browner skin tone or a chocolatey skin tone and light eyes, okay, so that is considered rare. So people might exotify that. But then if they do, and if you get compliments for that feature, then suddenly, oh no, you only like her because she's closer to whiteness, or you only like her because those features are associated with whiteness. So which one is it? Do people like certain features or eye colors or hair textures because they are simply rare and maybe you've never seen a person that has blackness and also has lighter eyes? Or is it because, oh, you only like them because they look closer to whiteness? This girl doesn't look white to me. Someone says, I knew a dude who got girls only because of his eyes, because he was ugly and short AF. Once again, I would love to see these people pull up pictures and point to which features are ugly. Describe to me what makes a person ugly. What makes a black person ugly? What features? Tell me. Eyes, nose, lips. What features make a mixed black person ugly? Please tell me which features make them look hideous. Because usually when you're called ugly by someone in the black community, they're talking about your black features. And also, why is it that anytime someone gets complimented on their beauty, it has to be because of colorism, texturism, or featurism? Why can't you admit when a person looks pretty, even if their eyes are a part of their beauty, or their skin tone, or their curly hair, or whatever it is? Like, why is it impossible for someone to be pretty who doesn't look unambiguously black? You know how people make comments like, oh, is she pretty or is she just light skinned? Is she pretty or does she just have light eyes? I feel like those types of comments are oftentimes based in jealousy because whenever the person is complimenting them, they're not saying, oh, you're pretty only because of your blue eyes. If you did not have blue eyes, you would be considered ugly. The only people who say that are actually unambiguous black people themselves. So they're actually dissing themselves and dissing their own features by saying that, oh, everything about you is ugly other than this one feature that I don't have. So it's like, no, it's not our fault that you have internalized colorism, texturism, or featurism. And also, we have the right to enjoy our beauty. And so if you were born with lighter eyes, you have the right to enjoy your beauty. You have the right to play up your eyes. You have the right to look as good as you want to look and be as confident as you want to be. I've noticed that if people are jealous or if people have an inferiority complex about their own blackness, they will use colorism as a way to discredit the beauty of lighter skinned people, use texturism as a way to discredit the beauty of looser hair textures, and then use featurism as a way to discredit the beauty of darker skinned women who have different features than their own. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The main people complaining about colorism, texturism, and featurism are the main ones perpetuating it. What do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.